Hey, what's up, people? Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to the podcast. It's your boy 4K back again. I'm back again with another head full of knowledge about to spit onto you. Full heads. Nobody's really full. You just have to be open-minded and let the knowledge sink in. You don't know everything. Just act like you don't know to learn. So today's podcast will be talking about money, women, and the war of your soul. In short, we are going to talk about spirituality. The whole truth, though. They don't tell you, they don't want you to know, they don't put it on the mainstream, social media, YouTube, and Rumble and everything. Because let me tell you something. You see, the real truth can't be put out there, if you know what I mean, if you deep it. Look, they can't be telling you the truth and putting it on social media, on the mainstream where people can find it. No. You see, the problem is people don't really understand what what is meant by the term the matrix, or what this thing really means, or this concept. Uh, there's no particular person who built the matrix. There's no particular person who built the matrix. You are building the matrix yourself. You are the creator of the matrix. Look, before you liberate yourself, or you liberate yourself from the society, you have to free yourself from your own self, the cage you have put yourself into. You have locked yourself in a cage, in a social bubble, like not in a social bubble, like in that persona ego bubble. Look, this is how, okay, this is my first time doing this. um I want to know where I make mistakes, and I will perfect on it by by learning how to give you something which is concrete, something you can use in the real life, something which is helpful to to a person who is really down, not this dopamine stuff, not this self help. Look, I'm telling you, the truth isn't out there. You already have the truth, but you don't really know it. Let me put it that way. Look, when I say that you are the one who built the matrix, that is what I mean. That is what I mean. So the structure overview, we'll be talking about the money, the game they rigged is the game you rigged. It's you. Okay. Every, everyone thinks like you. You want to be successful. Everyone thinks like you. But to be successful, you have to 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 be smart. That's why they tell you read. You have to read. Successful people read. No, it's not about that. It's about knowing yourself, getting to know yourself, and getting to know how the game really works. This is system. This is a system. You don't beat it. You know its ends. You follow it. Because if you try to beat the system, you will end up with a cheap life. Something cheap. I don't know if I'm making sense. But that's how the game it is. So that is the first thing we'll talk about. Then we'll talk about money. And so when you talk about money, you talk about power, manipulation, and the cold dynamics of this system, this whole system that we build ourselves to trap ourselves inside of it. Look, let me break down the whole structure of the matrix. You see, the matrix, so not people came together and build the matrix. No, we all build the matrix, and some people in the sense I'm using that concept. I'm using that concept from the movie and from what other people portray it also here. So from that point, the matrix is actually very simple. It's a very simple thing. It's not complicated. Look, it's a system people build. We build it. We build it. How? Let's say, let's say, um, I have a friend. He comes over to my place, and I'm like, he's trying to do something. Then I'm like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You see, to that guy, I'm limiting him. But for me, it's just my opinion. Really, it's my opinion. It doesn't matter to him. He can continue on doing it. If I don't like, he leaves. He has all the options. But here's the matrix. Here is where the matrix or the rules came in. So that guy is limiting himself from because of his own mind. He doesn't really have other options. He feels like he's entangled with this guy. He must be with this guy. No, you can decide to leave. Go to your place. Go do something else. It He or she is not the end of the world. That is the matrix. We build it. But those people who start to understand about how things really work around and how to navigate through this whole plot, they become the top G's, the top whatever, the top 1%, the top. Look, the top one don't make the matrix, don't make the matrix, we make the matrix. They know how to navigate. They are smart enough to know how things work. And they don't try to be the system. You can't be the system. You just go with the system. You just flow with it. So let's talk about spirituality. What will look in spirituality? Uh, this is this is actually difficult because I haven't made the overall the script of how this podcast will flow. So I'm just going to freestyle from offhand, and my few notes I wrote down to guide me on what I should be talking about. I want to talk about money, women, and spirituality. So this is the discipline and immortality. Look, you see, people when people talk about spirituality, the the core foundation of spirituality is immortality. Let me be honest and break the matrix because the matrix is everywhere. We are the matrix. The way you think, the way you are programmed to think, that is, you are in the matrix already. Nobody has to put you in the matrix. You are in your own matrix itself. Look, you build your own matrix. You are trapped before you try to change everything out there. You have to change yourself. You have to unlock your potential first. When we talk about spirituality, we are talking about immortality. That is the whole foundation of this whole piece of shit. Look, the rabbit hole goes deep. People don't want to be open anymore and talk about it. I don't know if they don't want to talk about it anymore. This You see, what is the whole concept? What's the whole concept of, I don't know, religion and what? Look, let's look a few religions we have been presented as the mainstream and the most popular religions we have. Let's talk about Christianity, not in a deeper way, but let's tap into it. If I knew, hypothetically, let's say, if I knew if I die, I was going to heaven, then what? Will I continue living the way I'm living in a sinful manner, or will I change and be you see, if if you know there's no hell or heaven, or maybe there's no afterlife, then what is the point? Because no one has proven that. But the deep down foundation of spirituality and what people are really looking into is how can they live forever? Is there an afterlife? When you die, do you reincarnate? Do you go to heaven, some some place beautiful, created with gold and manna and honey, or do you go to an eternal lake of fire, or do you go to emptiness? That is spirituality. That's how you dip into spirituality. But the answers are not outside here, because we are living in an independent, alone. We are lonely. No one will understand me. No one will ever really understand the real you, what you crave. No one. So, to find answers about yourself, you have nowhere to look for answers, but in yourself, you already have the answers. You just have to go deep the rabbit hole. But how can you go deep the rabbit hole if you don't have the knowledge of you have to know this is a, a tree, and this is a lighter, to differentiate them, or else you will say this is something, they are the same but in a different style or manner. You have to know, to have the knowledge, and the tools to really understand what you're trying to understand. So the whole cycle, that is the next step. I wanted to explain how they are all connected. And then the call to action to the listener. What should you should do? Look, um, Jim Rohn said once, and it's something I really liked about that guy. He said, "Don't only listen to me, listen to other teachers. Don't be a follower, be a student. Be open to learn, be open to understand, and try to comprehend and analyze other people's information. Take out the information which you know is good for you. Go do your research, analyze it, introspect on yourself, see how it really works. Because let me tell you, the answers are not out there. The answers are within you. But to find those answers, you have to have the knowledge of what you are really looking into, what you are. To find those answers, you have to go outside there, talk with people, learn from other people's experience, learn from other people. I know I'm making sense.